Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all honor and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Bahashem Raha Kwadash. Double honors to our elders, our apostles, bishops, a great millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect, starting with the 144,000 governing body of the nation of Yashar Allah, and the men, the women, and children are true believers in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. May He have mercy on you in these last days. It's your brother, I know with Allah, coming back to another quick lesson. Lord willing, to be edifying. And the name of this lesson is E is the wicked and most lewd man on earth. Something of that nature. I have this article right here. And the article goes into the New Orleans Archdiocese agrees to $230 million settlement in the clergy sex abuse case, attorneys say. We want to look the word dire, not dire, but we want to look this up real quick. I'm going to be using my other device, so 1 second. Okay, so I want to see what okay, so the church, the archdiocese in, wait a minute. So you have a diocese means in church governance. A diocese or biophoric is the ecclesiastical district under the jurisdiction of a bishop. All right. So this is Esau's kingdom, okay? This is how he governs what you would be so-called the church, all right? But let me see something. I wanna see. I'm gonna get to the article 1 second. An archdiocese is a significant ecclesiastical, I don't know if I'm saying that right, district in the Catholic Church, overseen by the Archbishop, and often serves as a central diocese within a province. It typically has a larger population and greater historical importance compared to a regular diocese. So in other words, these people govern the Catholic Church. I'm gonna look up a clergyman. Okay, it says clergy, the body of people ordained or recognized by a religious community as a ritual or spiritual leaders. So these would be, elders, whatever. It says the body of men set apart by due ordination to the service of God. But we know that's not Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because he doesn't deal with this. In the Christian church, in distinction from the laity in England, usually restricted to ministers of the established church. All right. So clergy are formal leaders within established religions who preside over rituals and teach doctrines. So these are false prophets. These are false leaders. And why did we know this? Because we're about to read right here is disgusting. And it just shows you that this man does not get in trouble. This is how you know who the wicked is. Okay? This is a lewd behavior, as freaky. And this is what this man does. He is a pervert. Okay? It says the New Orleans Archdiocese on Monday agreed to a $230 million proposed settlement for survivors of the clergy sexual abuse. Fuck. 1 second. Forgive me 1 second. Oh, that word was ecclesiastical. I wanted to correct myself because someone may come across this video and think I'm illiterate. I just didn't pronounce it correctly. It's ecclesiastical, and that's what I just was reading in regards to of relating to a church, especially an organized institution. Okay, so I was reading. It says the arch in the church of governance, a diocese or a bioforic is the ecclesiastical district under the jurisdiction of a bishop. All right. So let me get back to reading that was bothering. Let me get back to reading this. It says the agreement. It's like the attorneys for some of the survivors said money. The agreement paves the way for final resolution to a year-long negotiation amid a series of similar settlements from the Catholic Church. The Archdiocese had announced in May that it would pay at least $179 million in response to more than 500 abuse claims. So more than likely these were boys, all right? And this is speaking of sexual abuse, all right? SA, okay? It says, which the block of attorneys said they opposed because they considered it to be lowballing the hundreds of survivors. We knew this was a bad deal. So this is really these clergymen should be removed from their positions and put to death, pursuant to the scriptures. All right? But I want to focus on a few precepts as I got pulled up just to show you, number one, they're not getting away with it. And number two, who the wicked is. Once again, who's doing this? Our people are wicked, but this man, this so-called white man, the ease, all right, that's in charge of the church, that's been given, that the earth has been given to, is doing this. And he's paying off instead of being charged for his crimes. He's paying his way out of it. These children, whatever they experience with these men, money cannot replace the destruction and the filthiness that they've had to experience. Okay? It says, we knew that this was a bad deal, and we knew we could do better, and we have. The group of 10 attorneys said in a statement, the power of no forced the archdiocese to come up with significantly more money. The archdiocese had filed for bankruptcy in May of 2020 rather than handle each abuse claim separately, which survivors point out allows church leadership to avoid facing tough questions in court. The archdiocese called the updated settlement a significant step forward for the benefit of all claimant survivors. In an email statement, survivors have until late October to vote on whether or not to approve the settlement. If approved by 2/3 of survivors, payments could begin disbursement by next year. At this point, I am not aware of any single attorney for an abuse survivor that opposes the plan, said Brad Kemp, or Knapp, an attorney for a committee representing the abuse survivors. With all abuse survivors' attorneys supporting it, I think there's much less chance that it gets voted down. The Archdiocese bankruptcy is one of the longest running and most contentious of more than a dozen ongoing Catholic Church bankruptcy cases in the United States related to sex abuse, according to Terrence McKiernan, president of the nonprofit bishopaccountability.org. Judge Meredith Grabeel, overseeing the bankruptcy proceeding in federal court, has warned that if the settlement is not approved, then she will dismiss the case. So what does that mean? That means there's always a price in this kingdom, okay, on your innocence being taken, your flesh being defiled. Meaning, this judge, which I would have to say this is an unrighteous decree. Hold up. One second. Now, I got the scripture pulled up, but before I read it, oh, that's not the one. Yep. Let me do a Google search, Salaki, because I said something, and I want to address it because this is disgusting. All right, decree. One second. Now here we go. Unrighteous decrees refer to laws or decisions that are unjust or oppressive, often harming the needy and vulnerable in society. In context of Isaiah 10, these decrees are condemned for depriving the poor of their rights and justice. But you could use this for what this judge just said. Here it is. She said if the people don't agree with the $230 million settlement, she's going to dismiss the case. When you're agreeing to pay that amount of money, that means you're fucking guilty. But she said, I'm gonna read it. The judge, Meredith, sounds like a woman. Meredith Grabil, overseeing the bankruptcy proceedings in federal court, has warned that if the settlement is not approved, meaning the abused, the victims, if they don't approve it, if this judge is saying, I know you were raped as a little boy. I know your manhood has been taken and you'll never be the same. But I'm saying this is the amount of money that we're going to pay you, okay, to get over it. And if you don't accept it, all of the men aren't going to jail, then we're just going to not give you anything. That's an unrighteous decision or decree. And also being able to pay off the abused instead of bringing these men to trial publicly and then judging them publicly. Okay? If they're men of the Lord, this shouldn't even be happening. But they're not. They're the wicked. All right? So let's read the precept now. This says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievous which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, Isaiah 10:1, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. See, this, and we don't know how many of these is Jakes that they done this to. They do it to their own people as well. Okay. This is Psalms chapter 71 and verse 3. Verse 1. Truly the Most High is good to Israel, even to such as are of a clean heart. It says, where am I at? Because I really want to read right to the point. Here we go. For I was envious. I'm gonna read, start at verse 3. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw prosperity of the wicked. For there are no bands in their depth, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore, pride compasseth about them as a chain, and violence covered them as a garment. That's a violent act to do that to children. Okay? This is who you're dealing with. Esau, Edom, the wicked. Right here. This man has nothing good in his heart. And he's until he's removed from power, he's gonna always prosper. Let me just get the oldie but goodie. This is Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges. If not, where and who is he? That's the so-called white man. This is Psalms chapter 14 and verse 1. The fool have said in his heart, there is no power. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. That's the so-called white man. They look down from heaven upon the children of man, and to see if there are any that did understand and seek the Most High. They are all gone aside. They are all together become filthy. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. This is Psalms chapter 10 and verse 11. He have said in his heart, the Most High have forgotten. He hideth his face. He will never see it. He will. This is a mindset in Babylon. All right. As long as this man is in power, stuff like this is never going to be addressed according to the scriptures. It's going to always be this devil getting away with things like this. We don't know how many children have been abused. This is only what's been brought to the forefront. But the Lord allowed it to be brought out so lessons can be done on it, and so we can always point the finger at who is really the wicked is and who does this nastiness. When you go into the word lewd, let me pull that word up. This is a lewd behavior. Just locking. The lewd definition. It says preoccupied with sex and sexual desire and lustful, obscene, indecent. The third entry for this is wicked. I'm looking at it right here. It says lewd refers to a behavior, speech, or dress that is sexual and is an obvious and rude way, often considered indecent or offensive. It can also describe the conduct that is unseen or lascivious, such as indecent or exposure or inappropriate sexual actions. That's Esau, Edom, because in his kingdom, these people are protected. This is a way of life. All right? And there's laws made to protect the very innocent of children. And this doesn't matter what nation it is. Unfortunately, because we're in Babylon, our children are going to be subjected to this man's wicked ass decrees. Let me read this Psalms again. Psalms 14:1. The fool have said in his heart, What fool? The so-called white man. That's any fool though. But we're talking about the wicked today. Job 9:24. It says, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. Abominable works. To in a ritual sense, ethical. So anything that is done that's unethical, that's considered filthy, considered lewd, the Lord is telling you it's abominable and he hated. And these works he hate of them. All right. Let me read this Psalms 10:11 again. You know what? Let me start at 10. I'm gonna start at let me read 3 and 4. Then I'll jump down. This is Psalms 10:3. For the wicked boasted of his heart's desires, and blesseth the covetous, which the Lord abhorreth. So the Lord, that word abhorreth means to hate. All right. It says the wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in his thoughts. Because if he was, this type of shit wouldn't happen. This nasty, freaky, undescribable behavior, which you can only imagine what them children went through. It says, let me see. Verse 10, he croucheth and humbled himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. He have said in his heart, his mind, La, the Most High have forgotten. He hideth his face. He will never see it. But let's prove that. Let's see if that's true. This is Proverbs chapter 15:3. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. So they think that the Lord don't see this. And that's why they're not grieved. That's why they don't feel ashamed. This is why they just say, we'll just pay you off and then we're going to keep doing what we're doing. But the Lord is in every single place in America, all over the earth. And he sees all wickedness. And all wickedness is going to be judged, including this. This is Psalms chapter 7:11. The Most High judgeth the righteous, and the Most High is angry with the wicked every day. So every day, it doesn't a day not go by that the Lord's not angry about this right here. This is not going to just be a payoff. This is going to be judged. Okay? Psalms chapter 11:6. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and a horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. Of whose cup? The wicked, the so-called white man. And you niggas too that participate in this nasty, freaky behavior. That's right. This applies to the so-called Israelite man and woman that is okay with this or want to give a pass about this. There's coming a time where it's not going to be no more passes. The Lord is going to bring, like the scripture just said, fire and brimstone. This is Hebrews chapter 12:16. Proves why this man is the way he is. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know now that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. So the Lord ain't dealing with them. But this is why they have that puffed up mindset, which the Lord did to them. To really believe that you're going to get away with defiling a child. To really believe that you could just pay off and make laws like this. Even the lawmakers are going to be judged for this. When we go into the word profane, it says lawful to be trodden, profane, unhallowed, common, public place, of man, ungodly. This is an ungodly man, no matter which way you put it. Okay? And it's funny. When I read this precept, it goes right back to Leviticus 10:10, which is the law. And it says, and that ye may put a difference between holy and unholy, and between clean and unclean, which is the Lord is telling you that these people are unclean and they have an unclean mindset, and they will continue to get away with these unrighteous decrees and these lewd acts that they continue to participate in, bringing just nastiness and wickedness to their kingdom, because this is their kingdom. So Lord willing, this is edifying. I didn't want to make this long. I just wanted to point out how profane this devil is and how he will continue to get away with these things. But Proverbs chapter 15:3 don't lie. I got one more. Goddamn devils. One second. Yeah, one more. Just to prove to you that the Lord sees everything and nobody's getting away with nothing. So they could pay that money. The judge can say, you know what? I'm tired of waiting. This is Ecclesiasticus 23:19. Such a man only feareth the eyes of man, and knoweth not the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of man, and considering the most secret parts. He knew all things. He knew all things. Hold up. He knew all things are ever they were created. So also after they were perfected, he looked on them all. This is the point. The Lord sees everything. I'm going to read it again. Sirach 23:19. Such a man only feareth only the eyes of man. What man am I talking about? The wicked. In this particular precept. That he think he can get away with what he did to these children. It says, such a man only feareth the eyes of man, And knoweth not the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of man and considering the most secret parts. Okay? So Lord willing, this is edifying. We give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom.